GFM. Robert, how you doing?
Doing good, Brian. Thanks for having me back. It's good to be back to somewhere that you're familiar with and being able to catch up, which is always important. So I'm excited and happy to be back and
It's
share
good to
this
have
moment
you
with you
back.
guys. Thank you. Thank you.
We heard you got a new book out. Is that right?
I do, Brian. Definitely excited to talk about the new book and talk about how it's going to inspire and change people's lives as well as add value back to people.
Well, can you tell us a little bit about the book?
Yeah, Brian, the book, man, I started writing the book, I would say probably back in 2014. We kind of got started. And like anything, sometimes life happens during this journey. You get, I feel like it's like start and stop, through life, things are happening. And so, I was able to finally, make a commitment, full commitment to get it finished. And so the book is really what inspired me was just, meeting tons of people across the board from, different places like Pennsylvania that I've stayed in and Texas and then traveling different places. So you meet a lot of people. And so from that, I wanted to be able to, help people where I feel like in our journey, we can get stuck, or get distracted. I think like distractions are coming across on all different
Oh man,
sides.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
So I think for me, it was just trying to put something out that people could not have to spend, a week, 2, 3 weeks, spending time reading a long book. So it was something I thought about like making it short that people can get what they need from it to help them inspire them. And so the book is really to help people kind of see where their gaps are and help fill in those gaps in people's life.
So, what do you want others to know about it?
Well, I would say that what I want people to know about the book is that it's going to inspire them. It's going to add value. It's going to have them go back into their life, and relook at some things that they kind of put aside because they felt like they didn't have to because of life distractions, whether it's getting married, having kids, switching jobs, people getting sick, death, all those things happen in our lives that I feel like can distract people. So what I wanted to do was be able to put people in a position to go back, fill in those gaps and realize that you still can make your dreams or goals a reality.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
What's the title of that book?
The title of the book is called The Gladiator Within. And that is,
I like it, man.
yeah, that was, it's kind of crazy because when I was thinking about when I was writing the book and thinking like what the title was not even given, I started writing before the title. But so one day I was just praying about, what could I give, what title would I utilize? And it was like in my spirit, it just like out of nowhere, it just said The Gladiator Within. And that was what I used for the title.
What are 3 principles that you live by, and what would you like to share with people about them?
3 principles I live by, Brian, is number 1, is always being able to realize that people deserve grace. I believe that, my mom taught me that people, no matter what they do, they deserve grace and forgiveness. So, that's something that I've always stood firm on is giving people grace and forgiveness. The second principle is when you make a commitment to something, stick to that. Continue to keep pushing through that, no matter what it is. If you make a commitment to get married, if you make a commitment to finish a book, commitment to get your education, a degree, make that commitment and stick to that commitment. The third principle that I would say is when it comes down to just being able to treat people the way you really want to be treated. And I think for me, like my mom taught me that to treat people the way you want to be treated, and I know that, a lot of people say that, but a lot of people don't do that, for me, it's always trying to keep that as a perspective for me. So when I wake up, those 3 things are principles that I truly live by, believe in, and hope that others can, hearing this, others can take some of that and realize that, make sure you're always treating people the way you really want to be treated, because that's important. Because I feel like sometimes people they want people to treat them good, but then they don't treat other people good. So I think that when you have that type of situation, for me, in perspective, that's what I want people to know.
Powerful stuff. Thank you for sharing that. I know that your mom has passed. My condolences.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, that has to be tough, man.
Thank you.
My dad has passed. I totally get, in a way, that feeling, but it has to be tough. A mother is your mom.
Yep.
What do you have to share with others about what you've gone through and your experience with it?
I would say, Brian, it's been rough because it just happened like in October. October 10th she passed. So for me, I think man, the experience that it's like when you lose a parent, especially a parent that you love, that you close to, you value, and you've been a part of that commitment for them as a parent to guide you through being a kid and a teenager, then a young adult to being a grown up. I think for me it's challenging. I think everybody kind of learns how to maneuver when you have those losses. So for me, I would just say that what I've learned is that's a different type of pain, and you really do have to look deep into yourself to, me, I'm a faith-based person. So I look at my faith and I look at things that my mom taught me. So I think people can look at what, their father or mom taught them as the principles, and so those are the things that been able to help me go back, look at things she told me when I was younger. She told me that one day she wouldn't be here, and she wanted to make sure that I knew how to survive, how to live without her. So for me, those are comforting things to me to remember, not just the good things, but the principles that when she said, I'm not going to be here forever. So I need to know that you understand these principles, you live by them, so that when I'm gone, you can continue to succeed because of them.
Well said. Well said. What would you like people to know about you? And what would you like to share to inspire people who could be struggling or needing that extra push?
What I would like people to know is that, everything I do is because for me, when I think about my life, when I think about our journeys, when I think about, meeting amazing people across the board and taking their stories with my story, the one thing I really want people to know about me is that I truly have a passion to help people. I have a passion to add value in the gaps, to be able to help give people information that could change their situation or help people go back to something that was because they got distracted, that they still can fulfill that destiny or that dream that they have. I'm passionate about people. I love people. I love helping people, and I think I get that part of me because of my mom. I saw her do a lot of helping, giving back. And I think we all can give back. And so I think in some, weird way for me, it's being able to fulfill, that part of me that says, I want to just be a genuine, transparent person, honest person to help people overcome their biggest obstacles, give them tools. And I think,
What kind of tools are those?
Well, for me, tools are just, information that people don't have. There's people who struggling, whether it's depression or distractions or blind spots, which there is a chapter in my book. It's called, the title is Blind Spots. We all have them. Most people, because we're so busy and we live in a busy society where you got all tons of distractions from social media to family life and work stuff. Like, we're always going to be distracted. So in all those areas in our life, we have blind spots. So for me, again, that chapter is in the book, and trying to give people information, those tools to help them utilize and say, hey, let me be aware. Because I think awareness is key. If you can be aware of things, you can, learn how to use tools to prevent things from happening. Because to me, it's like football. When you're playing football and you're thinking about when you're running down the field, when I used to play, it was always like you run down the field and you see somebody get hit on their blind spot. Well, that hit is I mean, the breath comes out of people, and it's shocking. Yeah. And so you see that when the person's on the ground and they're gasping for air, So I used to see that happen. So when I would see it, I always told myself, make sure you're aware of your blind spots. And people do get hurt, seriously injured. And some people get killed because they're not aware of their blind spot. So for me, that's where I'm at with it. I want to make sure that I help people in those blind spots and help make sure that people stay aware and help people understand that it's not over just because you're 40 and you want to accomplish something at 30, or you're 50 and you want to accomplish something at 30. Like, you still have time. And as long as you're breathing, as long as you're doing those things, that God bless you to wake up in the morning, then you still have time to fulfill that thing that you wanted to accomplish.
Amen. Amen. As far as chapters go in the book, what are some other ones with that one that you want people to know about? Specifically important ones to you?
Desert Storm. Desert Storm is one huge chapter, because we all going to come to a place in life that face our desert. We all have to walk through the desert at some point in our life, whether it's divorces or death, or sickness, or it's all different times of things, loss of jobs, that we're going to have to walk in our own desert. And I always believe the desert is not to kill you. The desert is to develop you. So I believe that when you allow your mind to think that, oh man, I'm going through the desert, like my life is this or that, or because it's easy to be negative. It's hard. It's easy to be negative when you're going through pain. It's easy to, but I always say, like, your desert is to develop you. The greater version of you is waiting in your desert. So for you not to want to embrace that part, to say, I'm gonna go through the pain. There's two types of pain. There's good pain and bad pain. If you don't want to go through the desert, you get in the desert and you sit down, well, that pain is going to continue to grow. And at least that if you embrace the desert and you walk through it to find that greater version who is awaiting you, that greater version of yourself is awaiting you in the desert. So to embrace that part, knowing that I'm going to get better, this pain will subside, I will make it. As soon as you find that version of you, then you realize at that point, you're thirsty, you're hungry. But on the other side, when you meet that better version, you will find a lake or water somewhere to drink plentiful from.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all this, Robert. It's been great having you. Any final thoughts for the audience today?
Yeah, Brian, I would say my final thoughts for people is just, to every day, make sure you don't take this life for granted. I think one thing I've learned from losing my mom is that, once that happens, it's over with. And once you watch them go into that box, you really understand at that moment, like, there's no coming back from that. So I truly believe that, take the time to, sit back and look around you. Even in the midst of pain, even in the midst of things not going our way, we still are blessed. There's a lot of people fighting different battles. But one thing I realize is that if you can wake up and you can text someone in your family or text a friend, a loved one, to just say, I love you, or how you doing, to check in. That's for me that what I've learned in the game change of saying we do get busy, and it's a lot of, we have little time, because of work and family, and depends on people's situation. But I really just, want people to know that, like, when you wake up in the morning, realize that you count your blessings for that. And you have another day to go out into this market and go out here and make a difference. Go out here and chase your dreams, chase your goals. There will be pain involved. You're going to go through things. Life is not always going to be easy. But one thing I realize is that we have to realize that it is a blessing to truly wake up. It is a blessing to be able to call a mom, if you have one, that's above ground, or a father that's above ground, or a sister or a brother or grandma or grandpa. It is a blessing. So I want people just to realize that in the end, we get this one life to live. Don't take it for granted. We're going into the holidays. It's going to be a struggle for a lot of people, who've lost loved ones, and they used to having them there, and they won't be able to be there this holiday. So embrace the people that's around you. Love the people that's around you. Cherish those moments. Separate work, from those moments, and be present with those individuals that you love dearly.
Very powerful. So, Robert, can you tell us what's a struggle you might have gone through writing this book, getting it published, getting it to the point where it's in stores?
Well, the struggle for me, Brian, was the reason why I wrote the book was because I lost my brother, which he was 14 years old and I was 8 years old, and he passed. And so that's always just been a thing that just stuck with me, because he was my protector. He always protected me growing up. Always, anyone try to bother me, he was always there. I could always go to him to help me. So, seeing those losses, that type of powerful thing that really changed your trajectory as you, from being a kid to growing up, and and seeing that major loss in that dark time, and then continue to see other losses of family members, whether it's grandma and grandpa and great grandma and people who was anchors of your family. So for me, when I thought about the book and writing it, it came down to my star. Like, when you leave here, what do you leave behind? I wanted to be able to leave behind something that would allow my star to keep shining. And because of that, I said, no matter how much money you have, no matter how many houses you have, no matter anything like that, when you go into that box, that's it. That all goes away.
Can't bring it with you.
You can't bring it with you, no. And so what I realized and said, what would make your star continue to shine even when you're not here? Even through all the things that people are going through that need this. They need this book. They need this information. And so for me, that was like the driving force for me to say, you know what, when I'm gone from this place, I want to leave behind something that people can continue, as long as this world is here, continue to be developing, continue to fill in their gaps. And this was the book that in my heart of hearts I knew I had to get it published and get it done, because people needed this. And with so much happening today and so much stress and all the chaos, I know people needed something that they can read to continue to give them hope in their own lives, that it's not over yet, to keep pursuing, to keep going, because that's what it's about. We all are running the championship race. I want people to remember that when I wrote this book, it was because I want people to finish the race the right way. My mom finished the race the right way. She ran the championship race the way it's supposed to be, consistently, all the way through. I want people to run their championship race consistently, all the way through.
So, Robert, where can we get your book?
Thanks for asking, Brian. You can get my book from Barnes & Nobles, Amazon, Books A Million, Target, Walmart. Any one of those places you can order my book. Please get the book. It's going to change your lives. It's going to add value. And even if you don't read, there's someone who does. There's someone in this moment, this season, that needs the book, that needs that value added. This book, The Gladiator Within, will be able to add that value, the missing piece to the puzzle that you've been looking for.
Thank you, Robert, for sharing everything you did today, man. It makes me want to go get your book that much more. Do you have a copy of it to show people so they can see what it looks like?
I do, Brian. I do. I actually brought a copy to show people. Let me grab it here. So this right here is the book that when people go online, whether you order it from Amazon, Barnes & Nobles, Book of a Million, this is the book you're going to see. This is the book you want to get. This is a game changer for people who are right there in the middle. Right there, 2023 has been rough. It's been tough for a lot of people. And we're right there. You're right there about to cross your finish line for that blessing, that opportunity that you're looking for. This book is going to help fill in those gaps, to help you get to where you're trying to go. Don't miss out. The holiday season is approaching us. Someone is in need right now for this book to help change and add value to their life. This is your time, your moment. Go get the book, a real game changer. If it's meant to be, it's up to you. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? Feel the pain of change, or feel the pain of remaining the same?